Ready, Anna?
Perfect. So my name is Anna Arrigo, and I serve as the literacy lead for District 25. And I'm
And
here with my colleague.
I am Melinda Willens, and I am supporting the middle schools in the implementation of HMH into literature.
Perfect. So thank you. So this evening, we will provide you with an overview of our K-5 HMH curriculum, which is titled HMH into reading, and our middle school curriculum, which is titled HMH into literature. So to begin our learning together, we wanted to start with our why. We would like to frame our learning for the session around our why, with a specific focus on moving to a district-wide literacy curriculum for our K-8 students. Having a unified curriculum builds consistency and coherence, literacy instruction across our District 25 schools. It ensures students have access to grade-level content aligned to the next generation learning standards. It is grounded in research, such as the science of reading, along with evidence-based literacy practices. It also creates a foundation of high-quality instruction delivered for all K-8 students. And it also allows for a district-wide consistency of professional learning and planning. Another why is also because it connects with all families with accessible at-home learning experiences. HMH into reading received Ed Reports highest ratings in all three gateways with text quality, building knowledge, and usability within the program. So for example, some of the texts included in the program are high quality and engaging and rigorous to support knowledge building of what the students will actually be reading. The materials include students questioning, tasks, and developmental appropriate behaviors within reading and writing, speaking and listening, and beginning to think critically. The materials are also very friendly for teacher and student access as well. The K-8 HMH curriculum is grounded in creating strong, purposeful readers and writers. All of the resources embedded in HMH are both teacher and student friendly. The curriculum involves engaging literature that is motivating for students and also provides strong supports for all learners. The curriculum also invites our students to think critically about the text they are reading as they participate in authentic reading along with the classroom teacher and independently. On the next slide, you will see we highlighted how they are building consistency between HMH into reading and HMH into literature. And one of the main focuses is that both curriculums both engage children in high quality literature, and it provides daily opportunities for literacy discussion, and it fosters independent reading skills, and it provides an array of materials for differentiated small group instruction. One example of this integration of content and language is that each module within the reading is thematic, so it grows across content. This would never replace our specific content professional learning for our students, but this is in addition and makes connections so that you can see there are connections through science and social studies within each of the module that the students are immersed in. So as within each lesson, the classroom teacher engages the students in a vocabulary lesson, and we wanted to really pull this out so that you can get a better understanding of what a simple lesson would look like for the students are being a part of on a daily basis. So there's a second grade HMH lesson where the students are immersed in a high leverage practice of immersing students with vocabulary words that they will encounter as part of their reading. Students are engaged in a vocabulary routine of first, saying the word. Second, they have an opportunity to explain the meaning along with the classroom teacher and their classmates. And third, to talk about the examples within each vocabulary word. This type of exposure is really important as it allows the students to explicitly and fully understand what the words mean in the text, as they will encounter them on the same day with the text they're reading along with the classroom teacher. So it's really critical to introduce the academic vocabulary as part of the students comprehending the text. After the vocabulary lesson, the students then engage in learning a new skill On the next slide, you will see this is I think someone needs to be muted. On the next slide, you would see here, after the vocabulary lesson, the students then engage in learning a new skill, such as in this lesson, there is a strategy on asking and answering questions. Each lesson is scripted in a step-by-step model where the teacher models and names the reading strategy. As in this example, the teacher models how to ask and answer questions while reading independently, because that will support the student's thinking and comprehension of the text. This is all laid out for the classroom teacher to use as a model in supporting the individual students in her classroom. As you would expect, there are instructional scaffolds for multilingual learners, which lives in every single lesson of the HMH into reading and HMH into literature. These supports live in every lesson and every teacher's guide, offering scaffolded support for all students. So you can see it is divided into substantial support, moderate, and light. So it drills down to, for example, a student may need heavy support, substantial support, down to students who may just need a little bit as another reinforcement to access the curriculum. In addition, HMH into reading provides integrated language support. In addition to the scaffolds, here is another layer for language acquisition for students that need that specific support, especially for English language learners, to support their focus on various language functions. And now Melinda will take us into HMH into literature overview for a middle school.
Thank you. So the difference between the K-5 into reading curriculum and the 6 through 8 into literature is that K-5 is where our students are learning to read. By the time they come to middle school, now they are reading to learn. They have gained all of those skills in order to be able to attack words, and now we are engaging them in different themes, texts across themes, where they are spending more time doing critical thinking of a text. So just wanted to show you quickly that across the grades, there are 6 units. We calendared it out where we're going to do minimum of 4 this year. So these are grade 6. We're all right now in Discovering Our Voice, where the students are reading texts around different kids their own age, discovering their own voice. Grade 7, we are all in reality check right now. And in grade 8, they are in gadgets and glitches, really looking at how automation is changing our world. Every unit begins with a spark. We are engaging them in setting their minds up for what is going to take place across the unit. So for instance, this is grade 6, unit 2, Never Give Up. And we're asking students to make connections. And before I go further, just so you know, the structure of each unit, each text within the unit is consistent, so that students get to see that there is their predictability for them, knowing what comes next. So we start with Spark Your Learning at the beginning of any one of the units, where we're asking students to make a connection. So for instance, this is what was the last challenge you faced, and really thinking about what they bring to the unit. We are always engaging with the essential question, the large question that is going to be the thread that goes through all of the texts that they read. So for instance, this one is, what keeps people from giving up? Again, engaging the students in bringing what they have to the unit. We are also, vocabulary is very important. There are academic vocabulary words that will be seen in all of the texts. So for instance, achieve, individual, instance, outcome, principle, and we're asking students to explain whether or not they understand that word or not. Quick assessments for teachers to know whether or not they have to revisit these words. Once we've sparked our learning, we get into the text selections. And there are approximately 3 to 4 different text selections within each unit. Um, so this one has to do with Malala, and we are now engaging our brain. Every text selection in a unit begins with engage your brain. So now that we have sparked our learning and we know what the entire unit is going to be about, we are now going to focus more in on each of the text selection. And there are choices for teachers and for students. Some teachers are jigsawing, meaning they're giving different groups one of these questions and they all come together to see how they come together. There is explicit skills-based instruction in every single text selection. So for this particular text selection, it's analyzing the features of informational text. So setting the students up for understanding that they are going to be reading something that's going to give them information. So it's not a story, but this is informational text. Every text selection encourages students to annotate the text that they are reading. There is always an explicit model by the teacher where he or she is demonstrating for the students. There are guided questions for students to use while they are annotating, and again, engaging in their vocabulary. And then there's always some more background knowledge, because the more background we give them, the more they have to bring to the text when they sit down to read it. Every text selection has planning for teachers. Just to give you an idea of all of the resources that are embedded within this curriculum for the teachers to use with their students. First, starting with the lesson overview, knowing that this particular text selection is going to take 5 days. They're going to do the get ready, which is engage your brain. This text selection, they're going to spend 2 days reading. And then they have 2 days to respond, whether it's in writing or some other choices that they're given. We always preview the text with the students so that they know what the story is going to be about. These are the explicit skills that students will engage with, analyzing. So this is actually from grade 8, The Brave Little Toaster. They're analyzing the plot. They're looking at science fiction, which is a genre that may be new to some of our students. They're going to look at summarizing, which is a very challenging skill. There's always discussion embedded. There's opportunities to create. So they're going to create their own comics. And then there's embedded grammar and vocabulary, where we're looking at context clues and the use of participles. There are online resources. Some of our schools, the students are using the actual physical book that they are writing in. And in many of our schools, the students are one-to-one with devices where they have an opportunity to click on these things and get other access to the text. So there are summaries. There are text sketches, which gives them a brief overview. And these are available in English and in Spanish. For students who may need a little additional support, there are peer coach videos, and the videos are presented by students who look like them, who talk like them, who are their own age, so that they have someone else to relate to and help them understand some of the skills that they might be struggling with. There is instructional support provided for the teachers. There are multilingual glossaries for every unit. That has the vocabulary in multiple languages, not just Spanish, in Chinese, in Urdu, in Haitian Creole, whatever language we might need. The text sketches and the summaries with targeted passages are available in English and Spanish. If students are struggling to understand the skills, there are the peer coach videos. There are anchor charts that the teachers can display in both English and Spanish. And then there are some additional tutorials that can be provided to students should they need them. And then there is assessment throughout the unit so that the teacher has a pulse on how the students are doing. So there are quick checks, just quick questions that they ask along the way. There are choices for students to demonstrate their understanding in a way other than a pencil and paper kind of a test. Every text selection has a selection assessment. And then at the end of every unit, there is an end of unit assessment. And of course, just like in K-5, we have support for our multilingual learners. We have language objectives that are very specific that are aligned to the objectives for the text selection, but are very specific to the type of language support that they might need. Substantial, moderate, light, so that is consistent throughout K through 8. And any culture, the cultural notes, so that there might be words that are not familiar in other languages, so that they are defined for students as well.
And lastly, with families, involving families in the classroom, parents are our partners, ensuring our students that we service, your children becoming proficient readers and to have a love for reading. HMH into reading and HMH into literature, both K to 8, involves the families in the classrooms by providing an overview of each model their children will be immersed in from kindergarten to 8th grade to middle school. And they're also in multi languages, as you can see here. They're in Arabic, Chinese, French, Asian Creole, Portuguese, Vietnamese, to support our families and really just deepening an understanding of the HMH into literature and HMH into reading. And recently, 2 weeks ago, I presented to the parent coordinators. So parents are also very familiar with this information on HMH as they are now building in professional learning for the parents in each of our schools community. And we thank you for having us with you here today in building awareness of the HMH and curriculum. So thank you.
Does anyone have any questions about the curriculum? Share my screen.